So why are vans so important to the marketplace? Because they're the means by which thousands and hundreds of thousands of businesses across the UK make their money. And the most important fact about any van is that it's the right van to do the right job and it's fit for purpose. So with that in mind, let me introduce you to the DFSK EC35, brought to us by Innovation Automotive. Thank you, Innovation Automotive, for bringing this van into the market. Now let's just find out who it's fit for purpose for and everything the van does. You'll find a lot of people focusing on the looks of a van. Well, I don't think a van needs to be great looking, but that said, this one isn't the best looking van that I've ever seen. Although the headlamps are reminiscent of the older Ford Transit, and it's not unpleasant or ugly, but I've seen better looking vans. The best thing about this van is the shiny registration number. I do like that, and I might have to nick it or get one of my own. From the front, you'd be forgiven for thinking that it's a small van, but when you get side on, it isn't actually that small at all. So for those of you that love a statistic or two, this vehicle is 4,500mm long, which gives it an incredible turning circle of 11 meters. That's really good news. So it's actually got quite a compact footprint. This vehicle has a curb weight of 1,585 kilos, a gross vehicle weight of 2,600 kilos, important for the grant, giving you a net payload of 1,015 kilos. That's pretty good for this small, medium, small van. Twin side load doors certainly make this van practical from that perspective. No matter which curb you arrive at, you can get your goods out. So whether you're a jobbing builder or somebody that needs to get food to a site, or I don't know, lots of different jobs, I think this is really not a bad sized vehicle. Certainly in the back there you've got 4.8 of your cubic meters. Whoever measures anything in cubic meters, I don't really know, but what that means is 2.4 meters at the base. It's about 1500 millimeters wide on the inside. You can fit 2 Euro pallets, but you don't have the 1200 millimeters between the wheel arches, so they have to go round the other way. But getting goods in and out is made nice and practical, as I said, by the two side loading doors, but also a nice tailgate. Now, as far as I know, it is only available in the tailgate, which does mean that you're going to get a bit of a problem if you're trying to load with a forklift. That said, plenty of room to work underneath the vehicle and get all your goods in and out. How far is it going to take you with all of that in the back? So whilst this battery only comes to market with one battery option, the 39 kilowatt hour battery, it does come to market with two ranges. One range at limited 62 miles an hour will give you just over 100 miles, and one range limited to 50 miles an hour gives you 166 miles. So you can see the difference that speed makes to the range of a vehicle. It's also worth pointing out that these WLTP figures are typically measured with a 50% load allowance. So if you're using all of that, you can expect that range to drop down a little bit. Always worth bearing in mind that these are lab tested figures, and in the summer you will get a better range than you will get in the winter. So if that's how far I can go, how quickly can I charge it? Well, first of all, you'll need a key to get in here. which is the first of a few quirks that this vehicle has that, I have to be honest, got a little bit up my nose. It doesn't really need a lock, let's be honest, but that is because I fear that this vehicle may have been built on a ICE vehicle where they took the battery out, took the engine out, they took the fuel tank out and put a battery in and put some motors on it. I don't actually have a problem with that, but I would like to lose some of the ICE things that were there, and the lock is one of those things that I'd like to lose. But more importantly, can I charge it and how quickly? Well, you have got AC charging and you have got DC charging. AC charging, 7 kilowatts, 7 kilowatt hours, 7 kilowatts. It'll charge at 7 kilowatts, getting your kilowatt hours into your kilowatt hour battery at 7 kilowatts every hour. That means it's going to take about 6 hours to get that sentence out. 6 hours to get the energy into the vehicle. It does have DC charging at 40 kilowatts, and with that you will get a full charge in 90 minutes and a 0 to 80 in 60 minutes. And of course, the obligatory charging cable is provided with the vehicle. And whilst we're here, it's worth pointing out that the bulkhead does intrude a little bit at the top. So whilst you might have 2.4 meters at the bottom, you're probably going to have nearer 2.2 meters at the top. You do get a piece of glass or plastic to see into the back, and it's not a metal bulkhead, but it does have a metal frame in there where the bulkhead is bolted to. So I think it's going to do a pretty good job as a bulkhead, and also it's going to be nice and lightweight. A nice touch is the grab handles, getting you into the vehicle. Getting a bit old these days, they're always handy. And then once behind the wheel is fixed as to where it's going to be, but actually it's not in a bad position. Obviously you've got some seat movement forward and back, although of course limited by the bulkhead. In terms of the overall look and feel, it doesn't feel particularly European, but then it is a Chinese vehicle. You do have a nice Grundig infotainment system. The indicators are on the right hand side, and I'm used to them being on the left, so that's a little bit meh. But actually, of course, you're getting into this vehicle for the first time. It doesn't make any odds at all. So overall, it's not winning me over, but it's not putting me off either. The important bit, of course, is the drive. So what about driving this vehicle? Well, I don't know if you can hear that, and you probably can. The pedestrian noise is a little louder than I would like, if I'm honest, at low speeds. Obviously it's indicating to any pedestrians around the vehicle that the vehicle's coming, but it's a little too loud in the cab for my liking. Also, the other thing that I noticed almost immediately was that there is no way to get regeneration, the braking from the vehicle when you lift your foot off the accelerator, which for me was a little bit of a downside. I guess for people that are driving electric vehicles for the first time, it perhaps may not be an issue, but it does say that actually you can't get regeneration as you go along and top up the battery in effect, and also you don't get the benefit of that immediate braking when you're moving around the town and the city. Pulling away in the DFSK EC35 is the usual joy that you find with electric vehicles. The vehicle's responsive, quick to pick up, and nimble and agile, you might say, around town. As is often the case with electric vans, you kind of need a little bit of weight in the back to get the best from the drive. That said, it's pretty comfortable. The seats are firm. Some may say too firm. For me, it's okay. I'm missing my armrest, but hey, I can live without an armrest. The information binnacle in front of me is decent. A nice digital screen with analog either side. I'm missing any steering wheel controls for the stereo and for the phone that maybe you've become accustomed to on other vehicles these days. But with everything in easy reach, it doesn't feel like so much of a problem. The pedestrian noise disappears around 25 miles an hour, which is a little high again for my liking. Most other vehicles seem to disappear at about 18 miles an hour, which is better from my perspective. But once you get to speed, it's quiet, it does what you would expect it to do, it glides along. So finally, as I get back, I realised that manoeuvring this vehicle is actually pretty easy too. The 11-metre turning circle is very suitable for inner city urban operation. That makes for really good news. It's got an analogue handbrake, you know, the good old-fashioned pull them up. Actually, no issue with that at all. It's what we're used to. So actually, if it makes the transition easier and gives a lot of familiarity for people that will be jumping in and out of this vehicle all day long, that's good news. So yes, the question you've all been asking, well, how much is it, Paul? Well, the good news is that this is probably the most cost-effective van on the market at $20,995 when you've taken off the grant. Now, the grant is coming in at £5,000 off of this price. The reason being because this has a gross train weight, a gross vehicle weight, not a gross train weight, gross vehicle weight, 2,600 kilos, which is of course above the government's 2,500 cutoff for small vehicles and £2,500. So, good news on the price front, making this an extremely good value for money vehicle. So if it's good value for money, who is going to be putting their hand in their pocket to be buying one of these? Well, I think it's going to be your public sector, your councils, your NHS. These are the people that are going to be putting their hands in their pockets for this vehicle because they're yet to really thoroughly electrify their fleet. This will provide a tremendous option. It's got great capacity in the back, up to 4 meters, 4.8 meters cube, 2.4 meters at the ground, a ton payload and beyond, and a decent range of either 100 or 166 miles. Particularly, this vehicle is going to be in and around the town. You can charge it overnight at 7 kilowatts, or you can put a boost in with your 40 kilowatt DC charging. All in all, it's got key things like air conditioning and a decent sound system with Apple CarPlay, as we said. At the end of the day, it is going to meet most of the needs of the basic end of the market. And to be fair, it is about time we had a basic van on the market to meet that need within that sector. Yeah, cut a little of irritations, it's a little bit noisy from time to time, and the locking mechanism for the charge point, bit unnecessary. Anyway, we're looking into all of these things and we'll see just exactly how it comes to market in the coming months. So that has been my review of the DFSK EC35 from Innovation Automotive. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit the bell so that you can get any more information about electric vans, because that is what you'll get from me, the Electric Van Man. Have a great day, everybody.